New Age Tactical back on another video.
Tuesday?
So we did some fire starters.
Yeah.
So
We did 3 different kinds. We're going to do one by one.
the first one,
I figured I'd start off with the most basic, which is the one that I knew from childhood. Egg carton, dryer lint, and some candle wax. Even with the candle wax, I actually just recycled a bunch of candles that I already had and saved up and then melted the wax back down and then poured them in
smells
again.
like Nag Champa.
It does smell totally 100% like a hippie shop. But in this experiment, I purposely went with one that was lightly covered with wax. One I did about double the amount of wax. I didn't go too heavy on one of them in case it had a hard time starting. They had no hard time starting at all. The one with the double the amount of wax burned for an extra 5 minutes. It did fantastic. At that point, I would just say just fill it up with wax. Load
So
it
now
up.
another big point we gotta point out with these guys is that I used a fire starter on them. As far like I'm talking about a fire steel. I like these because the fire starter worked. They ran for about 15 to 20 minutes depending on how much wax was in it. And it burned pretty well. So
Burned really well.
you get this thing going, you put it in any pile of wood, it's going to catch that pile of wood on fire eventually, you know.
Preparation, it was easy to make. Ridiculously easy. I think I even made like a double boiler just to melt the wax. I didn't even need to do that. I could have just put it over an open fire and melted that wax and poured it right on. So it was as simple as shove the dry lint in, pour the wax on, let it dry, done. For the sake of how easy that was, I think this is a great fire starter.
Yeah. They're a little bulky for carrying wise.
Okay, if we're talking about downsides, I feel like I could make a more condensed version of this. Pretty
And that's
easily.
kind of like what we were talking about was how we can make a smaller version, which we're going to work on it because this dog hair hanging out of this one. 15-minute burn time or 15-minute burn time, 20-minute burn time, whatever. We'll put the times up with the real times. But if you cut this in half or lessened it or even cut this down to like a tea light candle size as opposed to being so high.
Mm-hmm.
Not that this weighs a lot, but you're cutting weight, size, space, and it's still going to run for, let's say, half the time. Now, there's also other things that are running through my head, which we'll try later on in the future.
Essentially, we want to go through the way that most people do it before we start coming up with our own concoctions. But
Yeah, but all the way that most people do it is giving us ideas on...
I'm
it's giving
already
me ideas.
concocted
Oh,
in my
yeah.
head. Yeah, like I've already
Absolutely.
got plenty of ideas
Absolutely.
just based off of these 3 tests.
We just came in from outside and we were like, you know, we want to talk about it while it's still fresh in our mind. These guys impressed me. I mean, I'll be honest. When we got
I
to
had
that
the
15
least
minute,
amount of faith in this one.
and when we got to 15 minutes, it was kind of like, what the fuck is going on here?
I had the feeling that once this actually caught and ignited, that it was just gonna and just burn up really
Yeah, but the
fast.
wax
The
kept it.
wax really did a bang up job.
Not bad.
Not bad at all. I'm excited for next week's.
It'll be cool to see what we come up with, and you know what I mean?
We should do a face-off. You do one, I make one, and then we burn them together and see who wins.
Yeah.
Okay.
Other than that, guys, like, subscribe, follow us on Instagram.
Hit the bell.
New merch. We're going to put links to all the stuff down in the description. I mean, this
Doesn't
is,
really have links.
You can go to your local
but-
supermarket, but other than that, New Age Tactical.
Over and out.